Hi, and thanks for watching another instructional video for CSCI 1300. In this video, we're going to be talking about command line arguments in C++. Compiling a program with command line arguments involves modifying your main function, which normally would have blank parentheses, to accept two arguments, int argc and char star argv. When compiling, you're going to be compiling the file name using G++ and whatever convention you want to, such as compiling with the C++ 11 standard convention, and the file name CPP. You will then, in your next step, when you are giving an executable name to run whatever you've just compiled, you're going to then specify a number of arguments after the name of the executable file, whether that is an a.out file, an a.exe, or if you have given it another name with a -o. And this supports up to n number of arguments. You can put in as many arguments as you want to. The command line arguments allow multiple inputs to a program via compile command. argc is an integer representing the number of arguments passed on the command line. Char star argv is a pointer to an array of arguments stored as characters. Arguments are specified after the executable name is listed during compilation. If you were to look at argv as an array, the first argument at arg0 is always the file name. Arguments can be anything from strings, integers, to doubles, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at how this actually works in VS Code. Here I have a program where I have created a main with int argc and char star argv. I'm going to do a quality control check on the user input here to say that if we don't have exactly 4 inputs, which is what this program requires, then it will print too many or too few arguments. So it will not work with less than 4 or greater than 4. It must be 4 arguments, which means that we will accept 3 arguments besides the file name. I'm then going to print how many arguments were put in by the user and then what we actually store into our argv to show you the contents of what we actually just did. So if I was to run G++ and then compile my program, I could do multiple things with my argv. I could pass file names, I could pass data values like integers or doubles, I could pass strings. So I could do anything like, I could pass a string, I could pass maybe like an integer, I could pass maybe a double, and that would be stored inside of argv and printed through this for loop that I have here. And it doesn't really matter what those command line arguments are, they're all stored as text information. So I could do the same thing, but I could then run it with, say, I could say it with different types of information here. So I could do all kinds of different things, and it would store that information as character data. So these can be then converted and transformed into any kind of piece of data that you could use in your program, from opening files to inputting data values directly into your program at the beginning of compilation. So that's all I've got for right now on compiling with command line arguments. Thanks for watching, and happy coding!